The first question is on love. How do you tell your partner that you are falling out of Hi, it's a girl Red Rose Ever Missionary, and I like to start by saying that I was a Zulu and some amazing dude somewhere put a ring on it, and I'm now Rosemary Piri, and it's lovely to be here with the most amazing guest.
Glad to be here. My name is Kelby GP, a missionary, and welcome to BBC.
Yes, so in case you're joining us for the very first time, BBC is beauty with brains and character, or bravery with brains and character for the guys. We believe that it's possible to have the beauty, the brains and the character, or the bravery, the brains and the character, because we believe that character is what will sustain you when your beauty, when your brains and your bravery, opens this door for you. So bravery, beauty and brains can pretty much take you before any influential person on this planet, but it's actually your character that will sustain your elevation and your favor in their eyes. So good morning, good evening, good afternoon, to you, depending on where you're watching us from and depending on what time it is. Great. So we did put up a post on Facebook that I was requesting for ladies to ask questions about relationships, especially those questions that give them a lot of headaches, because we know these guys are quite strange, the males, So sometimes it takes a man to be able to answer questions that affect ladies because of a man, So I thought of inviting my husband of 7 years to join me, not because it's just my husband, but because for some of you who know him, he has amazing, vast experience on matters of relationships.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I have a couple of issues of my own that I have survived, and as a result of that, I have one or two things to share.
Yes. So, and apart from that, to show you, in debate they say, to show you that I'm not speaking from without, allow me
show some evidence.
Yes, some evidence.
Mastering the dynamics of love relationships. My wife's beautiful face on there to show you that she is the real guru and I am just a messenger. So yeah, this book contains a couple bags of nuggets to guide you on your love relationship. Give us a shout, drop us an inbox to find out how you can pick up a copy of the book, or step up to the post.net store at Manda Hill, or go to the Bread of Life Church International Bookstore out there in Emersdale if you want to pick yourself a copy. It's only $100.
Great. And some of the things that we'll be sharing are from this book. When were you supposed to release this book?
This book should have been released in 2015.
Okay.
Yeah.
About 5 years ago.
Yeah.
But you only managed to release it a couple of years after.
2017, 2018.
And you had to do some edits, right?
Yeah, a whole bunch of editing.
So meaning it's,
learning stuff in the process.
Great. So thank you so much for accepting. I know you're one of the busiest people on the planet.
It's my pleasure.
I don't want to take it for granted that you're my husband. I can call upon you anytime, but I want to just, acknowledge that you've literally set aside time to answer more than 40. I think we are now more than 50 questions.
Amazing.
From all over. What I mean? So thank you so much. And I strongly believe that, when ladies are exposed to the man's perspective it will be easy for them, to make, proper decisions that they have to make. And we pray that God, through these answers, will be able to touch you at your very point of need. And I just wanted to say that in case you feel your question is not adequately, answered, or maybe we didn't read it properly, please feel free to get back to us. So we are still answering a couple of questions, but make sure you ask all those questions before 1st of May, because by 1st of May we'll start to release. Obviously maybe watch this on 1st of May, but anyways, yeah, so thank you so much for joining me. We start with the first question for this set.
Yes, please.
So the first question is on love. How do you tell your partner that you are falling out of love?
Okay. What does that even look like? What's falling out of love?
You don't feel the guy anymore, and you don't want to pretend.
You don't want to pretend, just tell them to their face. Like, hey, yo, I don't feel you anymore. Capiche? Goodbye. I'm out of here. No, I'm kidding. Well, it's important that you are candid with yourself, and that you are candid with them as well. It's not the easiest of things to do, because obviously, if you are, I'm guessing this is a lady.
Yes, definitely.
If you're a lady, obviously maybe the brother would have invested quite a bit, in you, like some of us used to do. He may have, bought you presents, birthday presents. He may have taken you out on multiple dates and so on and so forth. And so you might feel like you owe him something. But like they say, a failed relationship is better than a failed marriage.
Yes, true that.
Easier said than done, but it's a fact. And so if you don't want to find yourself in that space where you are having to battle with a struggling marriage, it's better if things don't seem to be on track in the relationship that you are open about it. Have a conversation, communicate gradually, to say, I am noticing that this is not the same. I'm noticing that, certain things are not necessarily fulfilling me as they used to, or as I would love them to be. Ultimately, the brother will get the communication, but in due course, you may have to then, nail, the hammer the nail on the head, and say, I think, as far as this particular relationship is concerned, it doesn't seem like we can proceed, because it would be unfair to me, it would be unfair to you, for us to go on in this relationship where I am pretending as though I love you as much as you love me. It's a difficult conversation to have, but one that is necessary, one that is inevitable, one that must happen quite early, before other emotional investments and whatever other investments are made. That way you will be able to go separate ways if you have to, but then also gives you time for recovery as well.
Thank you so much. We'll move on. Okay. So, what does submission mean to a man, and what does it look like, or how does it look like? And he says that if you could give examples here, that would be awesome.
Okay. All right. So let's be very clear on this particular topic. Submission is to a husband, not to a boyfriend, not to a fiance, in as much as that preparation and practice may be encouraged. Okay, the Bible says, wives, submit to your own husband. Husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself for her. When you talk about submission in the marriage context, what submission looks like is you, the woman in the marriage, understanding that the man is the head of the house, he is the head of the relationship, by what scripture says and has assigned to him. He is the one to call the shots, he is the one to set the stage, he is the one to decide what direction the relationship or the marriage, the family is going to take. And so what submission looks like is you seeking direction from the man who gives guidance, and whatever it is that the man says goes. Not to say that you can't advise the man, not to say that you can't correct the man, not to say that the man is going to be right all the time. No. Because remember that in this marriage relationship, you are in a joint venture. It's a partnership. Okay? The woman brings in an investment into the relationship, and so does the man.
Yes.
So the decisions that the man is making ultimately are influenced by the woman or the wife in this particular case. So what it looks like is the woman actively involved in decision making, actively involved in charting the course of the marriage relationship, because she is giving 100% in as much as the husband is also giving 100% in the relationship. For me, submission looks like a woman ready to run with the vision of the man, as the man is actively providing guidance and also seeking advice and support from the woman. In a relationship, this could be practiced to a certain degree, but you don't want to be in a relationship behaving like you are married. Okay, you don't want to be disregarding the instructions that your guardians, your parents are giving you, because some dude out there is demanding certain things. Okay, for as long as you are not married yet, you as the woman, your submission is to your parents, your submission is to your guardians. It's officially outside that covering that now you submit to the covering of your husband, and your husband now begins to give counsel and direction. At that point, what your parents say will not go, because now it is the word of your husband that goes. I hope that that's helpful.
Yeah, I think it is. You know, and in case it's not clear, I'm sure they'll be able to ask. So, the other one is, how do you resolve conflicts with the fiancé in a relationship?
All right. That is a very broad subject. But in a nutshell, there are a couple of things that you can do. The first is to start thinking around how you can prevent conflict. Okay.
So you can actually prevent conflicts.
Exactly. You can prevent conflict by having an honest and open communication policy in your relationship. It's one of the ways that you and me worked around preventing and resolving conflict. Because if you have an open and honest communication policy, you avoid one of the biggest causes of conflict in relationship, which is assumptions. Okay?
Correct.
Assumptions which result in miscommunication, which result in misinterpretation, unmet expectations,
and conclusions, and so on.
Exactly.
Yes.
So once you have an honest and open communication policy, you are simply saying, whatever is going on with me, I will be proactive to communicate with you, and it should be the same with you. Whatever I am not pleased about, I will not bottle up things and wait until I explode. Pardon me. Much later, you know, when I would have taken care of or allowed us to take care of the little foxes that would have destabilized us in the initial phases. So if there's anything that your partner is doing, your fiancé is doing that displeases you, you know, pick a day when you are having a cordial conversation and raise some of those issues to say, you know, I'm not very happy about the way you do this, that, and the other. I would be more appreciative if you were able to, you know, talk to me like this or express yourself in such and such a manner. That way you are creating an enabling environment for healthy conversation, for clearing expectations, because usually unmet expectations usually are a source of conflict in relationship, and those unmet expectations usually come as a result of some non-communication or miscommunication. So you find that there's a lot around communication that can be done to prevent as well as manage conflicts. In the event of a conflict, you want to make sure that you realize that your partner is not your enemy. Okay,
you're on the same team.
You're on the same team. You're working towards building a relationship or, you know, building a marriage, whatever it is that you are working towards. The worst thing that you can do is to view your partner as your enemy, because then if you view them, and it sounds big when we say enemy, but that's what we do when we begin to say hurtful words to our partner.
Because I want to win.
Exactly.
I want to show you that I'm right.
Exactly.
You know, but then you don't want to hear me, so I'm gonna hate you. You know, that kind of thing.
That's it. You know, so you end up using words that you had no plans using, and now you find yourself regretting because you said certain things that now you can't take back because now
and
your
it's
partner,
hard.
Exactly. You know, your partner is now hurting, and so on and so forth. So you want to make sure that you're not viewing them as an enemy. You want to make sure that you are not trying to resolve matters when both of you are upset, you know, and you don't feel like having a meaningful conversation. You just want to vent, you know. You want to exercise some level of self-control. You know, you want to say, I'm not able to have this conversation right now. So if you are able to allow us a bit of time, can we talk about it later? You know, but foolishly, some brothers, you know, some sisters will be like, "Nah, I want to talk about it now. There's no way we're going to leave this thing hanging," you know, and people end up saying all sorts of crazy things, which is very unwise. You know, because now instead of building, you start tearing down what you would have spent a lot of time trying to build. So some basic skills in conflict management is all of that. You know, you want to have the perfect timing around when you have certain conversations and so on and so forth. You want to be mindful what you say. If things get to the worst, you know, you want to seek counsel. You want to seek some type of mediation from. And this is one of the things that you want to do before even the conflict ensues, is you want to agree, you know, in the times that you think that we are not seeing eye to eye on the matter, who are you comfortable with seeking counsel from, you know, so that by the time your wife or your partner is reaching out to that particular individual, you would have already talked about it. And so it won't be an issue of, oh, so now you went to tell so and so, you know, so that they can do whatever. You know what I mean? But if you had that conversation, then you know for certain to say that even if your partner does, you know, go to tell whoever, you know, you would have already spoken about it, and it's something that you're comfortable doing.
You know, and it's like a safe place.
That's it.
And you know, they're not going there to report you, but they're going there to seek guidance.
That's it.
So that you can build together.
Right.
And I think also, like, one of the things, sorry for chipping in, I'm trying as much as possible not to say nothing because it's your show. You know, like, one of the things that we learned was to learn each other's, you know, communication style. You know, like, so for example, for me, I'm that kind of a person, when there's something that is wrong, I'm not happy with, I want to talk about it now. You know, like, I don't have, like, I wonder I wonder at people who need more time to process, you know. Like, a long time ago, I used to think my husband was strange when we have an, you know, issue. I'm like, okay, you know, let's talk about it. You know, I've already thought about it and stuff. And my husband would be like, you know, can you give me time to process? I'm like, what? I can't sleep like that. I want to talk about it, you know. But then, you know, we had to reach a consensus where we had to appreciate that we don't process the same, we don't think the same.
Yeah.
And now it's easy, like we told each other that, if he feels he needs more time to process, I need to give him time. That also taught me patience. Obviously, we know patience is one of the fruits of the spirit. It taught me patience. Say, just because I can process there and then, doesn't mean I can do that. So I have to sort of give him.
I have a slow processor. I have one processor.
So I thought I should throw that in. Okay, we'll move on. Oh my goodness, we still have so much, but we'll see what happens. So, the question concerning communication. What can a lady do when a man gives her silent treatment without telling her what she's done? What can a lady do when a man gives her silent treatment without telling her what she's done?
Okay, so that's an interesting one because usually it's
what can a lady do when a man gives her silent treatment without telling her he is done, like he's done?
Oh, is it done with the relationship?
Yes. Not what she's done, but he's done with the relationship.
Oh, okay. Well, unfortunately, there's not so much you can do about that, because if the brother ghosts on you, goes just capiche, goes quiet, he doesn't want to say anything, you can't force him to come back into the relationship. Unfortunately, there are some brothers that are not they're not cordial enough to want to communicate some of these things and say, well, look, if the brother is not decent enough to communicate that he's having challenges and he would like to end the relationship, there's not so much that you can do about it. Okay, because it's like his mind is made up. For him to go silent and not to explain anything, he's processed all of that, because the truth of the matter is, if he meant to make things work, he would have given you some level of audience. He would have said something. Unfortunately, some brothers don't have the decency to just have the conversation. Some of them just don't even know how to do it. Okay, and so if he's gone ghost on you, unfortunately, you might want to close that chapter, because trying to run after him, is going to tire you emotionally. It's going to waste a lot of time for you. If he really meant business, he would have come back anyways. And so you don't want to just waste so much time trying to pursue an individual that's not interested in you. I think it's time to just close that chapter and start focusing on the next bus stop.
Okay, thank you so much. This next one is about marriage. It says a lot of married people say that once you get married, the honeymoon phase will go. Now my question is, how do you ensure that your marriage is honeymoon throughout?